Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4, live on location in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. A quick note, Susan Simon is off today tending to a family matter, but with me is Elia Liberté. Good to have you.
It's good to be here, and it is our second day here at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, and we are on Media Row.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity going on behind us, and it's right inside the United Center. And it's not just Chicago where all the action is happening today. We have crews at major events across Chicago and in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right. We have folks all over. Earlier today, we had a one-on-one with J.D. Vance in Kenosha. We also have reporters in Milwaukee as Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are set to speak at Pfizer Forum. We will tell you all about the speakers that are taking the stage tonight as well at the United Center.
Well, let's go to Milwaukee as Vice President Kamala Harris and her pick for VP, Governor Tim Walz, are set to speak at Pfizer Forum. Maddie Heimsch is there and has more on the event. Hey, Maddie.
Yeah, Ellie and Brady, doors just opened here at the Pfizer Forum. As you can see behind me, people starting to file in, finding their seats. They're excited to hear from Kamala Harris and, like you said, her vice presidential pick, Tim Walz. Now, just last night, we actually saw Harris unexpectedly take the stage down in Chicago. For just a moment, she delivered some brief remarks, but not nearly what Wisconsin voters are hoping to hear from her tonight. Now, I'm going to step out of the frame for just a second and let you see the setup here at the Pfizer Forum. Like I said, people just starting to file into those seats. Obviously, this same arena was filled with Republicans just weeks ago for their national convention. We spoke to attendees today waiting in line for Harris. Here's what one Wisconsin voter had to say about her support today.
I'm here also for the future of my granddaughter and other girls like her. I think the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz campaign is the piece of joy that we've needed in this campaign up until this point. And I feel like she is the best person to make sure that women's rights are preserved.
Now, Wisconsin voters are expecting Harris to talk about those women's reproductive rights, as well as cutting taxes for the middle class and prescription drug costs, some of those top issues for voters right now. Looking forward to tonight. Obviously, Harris and Walz will be here speaking. They'll be joined by Representative Gwen Moore, Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, Milwaukee Bucks President Peter Fagan, and Bucks forward Chris Middleton. So the event is set to officially start at 7, but we will keep you updated all evening and night here on News 3 Now. Ellie and Brady, back to you.
All right, thank you, Maddie. Well, Vice President Harris is in Milwaukee. Republican nominee for Vice President J.D. Vance is campaigning in Kenosha.
News 3 Now got an exclusive one-on-one interview with Vance. Political reporter Will Keneally joins us from Kenosha with more.
Vance is here in Kenosha as Republicans are offering an alternative to the Harris-Walz ticket and Democrats as they hold their DNC in Chicago. I was started by asking him what he thought of day one of the DNC. Have you been watching the DNC at all?
I watched a little bit of it last night, but mostly was on the road yesterday and then got home a little bit late, so I haven't been able to see everything. Look, it's their convention. Certainly hope that it's safe. I know they've been disrupted by protesters a little bit, but we're going to continue to have our debate and get our message out there that if we re-elect Donald Trump, we can have peace and prosperity. And Kamala Harris's policies have led to rising inflation and more chaos across the world.
Vance says some of the messaging from Republicans is to ask voters whether they are better off after 4 years of Trump versus 4 years of Biden-Harris. Now, we'll have more from our exclusive one-on-one sit-down with Vance later tonight. Reporting from Kenosha, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Will. Well, you can see there is a little more commotion behind us. More surrogates and attendees are coming in, so things are a little more action here in Media Row. And other things are starting to heat up as at the United Center as the crowds get ready for tonight's speakers.
Yeah, that's right. Our Meryl Hubbard is down on the floor tonight while we await hearing from the Obamas. Meryl?
Yeah, Ellie and Brady, I'm live on the DNC floor where today's theme is a bold vision for America's future. This theme ties into contraceptive rights and economic freedoms for women and families. Now, we can expect to see about 4,000 delegates here today. You can see a lot of them are taking their seats and getting ready. And then on top of that, we'll see tens of thousands of people in the audience. You can really feel the energy is ramping up here as people are excited to hear from some big speakers. We've heard a lot of excitement from Michelle and Barack Obama taking the stage, but we will also hear from Kamala's husband, Doug Emhoff, and Bernie Sanders. Later this evening, we will see a ceremonial announcement where Democrats will nominate Harris as their presidential pick. You're going to hear a lot more from us in Chicago today, but for now, I'm going to throw it back to you, Ellie and Brady. Merrill Hubbard, live on the floor, News 3 Now.
Thank you very much, Meryl. Well, in other news, police arrested 10 protesters here in Chicago after some of them breached part of a fence on the outer perimeter of the venue of the Democratic National Convention.
Witnesses saw 4 people detained and placed in handcuffs. Thousands of mostly peaceful pro-Palestinian protesters had marched in Chicago on the opening day of the convention in a show of anger against the Biden administration's support for the war in Israel, or the war in Gaza, rather. After hours of peaceful demonstrations, dozens of protesters broke through part of the perimeter security fence, drawing riot police to the site. Law enforcement personnel acted quickly, and there was no threat to attendees.
And because of that, Chicago City crews have installed more security fencing outside the United Center. Officials installed additional fences at Washington Boulevard and Wood Street, about 2 blocks from the United Center where the convention is, through Thursday. Crews added a second layer of fence and installed a second story. Officials say a man used a sledgehammer from his backpack to dismantle perimeter fencing. Others broke down gates and jumped into restricted areas.
And our crews are working to bring you the latest from the Democratic National Convention, as well as an exclusive interview from J.D. Vance and full coverage of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's rally in Milwaukee. You won't want to miss our coverage, and if you have, we have a special show that's airing on 7:30 today on only channel3000.com.
Well, the Chicago weather is hard to beat, but let's go back to Madison. It looks like it's a sunny and cooler day across the area. Here's your first warn forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Hey, Alex.
It's actually Jacob here, but that's okay. He normally does this show. But yeah, it is very, very nice here in Madison as well. We are seeing partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, though, but the temperature is very comfortable. I know some people may want it to be a little bit warmer, but I personally find this weather just about perfect. Humidity is also only at 51%, so it's very, very comfortable out here as well. Right around 70 for much of Dane County. Looking across southern Wisconsin, a few areas in the middle 70s, but 60s for those of you closer to Lake Michigan. So it is a pretty below average day, but still comfortable as we are in the time of year where the average high is still close to 80 degrees. So very nice. And if we look at the visible cloud track, you know, parts of our area, especially north and east, are seeing clear skies at this time. But right now here in Madison, we are seeing a little bit of cloud cover, and that includes areas west of Madison as well. We also are completely dry, nothing on radar, and we are going to remain very comfortable this evening, dropping into the 60s by the time sunset hits. But definitely enjoy the evening. It's going to be very nice. But the nice weather is going to continue, but it's not going to continue forever. I'll talk more in detail about a warm-up expected coming up a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Jacob. I guess you're our chief meteorologist now. There's a promotion for you. Well, when Live at 4 continues, we will head back to Madison.
We'll have the latest on the Fitchburg shooting from earlier this month, as officials have identified the man shot by officers. That's next at 4.
Sanctuary cities protect illegal immigrant criminals from being deported, like an illegal immigrant arrested for battery in Madison. Instead of being deported, he was released and went on to assault several more women, including a 13-year-old girl. Senator Tammy Baldwin voted 9 times to support federal funding for sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegals back onto our streets. And Baldwin voted for amnesty for 11 million illegals, including criminals. Tell Senator Baldwin, stop protecting illegal immigrants and start protecting Wisconsin.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Okay, guys, we're all here because US Cellular has an incredible deal. Right now, you can get 4 lines for just $90.
Sorry, just double checking. Is it really that good of a deal?
Yeah. It's a huge deal. You also get 4 free phones of your choice.
4 free phones! Wow, I just triple checked and that's awesome.
So go get that deal. Or at least help me clip. Do you check the expiration dates?
Oh, I can do that.
Great.
Get 4 free phones of your choice with no trade-in needed, plus 4 lines for $90.
After
careful review of medical guidance and research on pain relief, my recommendation is simple.
Every home should have Salon Paws.
Powerful yet non-addictive, targeted and long-lasting. I recommend Salon Paws. It's good medicine.
Many window installers lack proper training. At Next Door and Window, we're reinventing window installation. Our installers are certified and trained to ensure your windows are sealed tight and energy efficient. Visit nextwindow.com to learn more.
It's time for Good News, Madison.
The pedestrian mall is right here in the heart of downtown Madison on the 400, 500, 600 blocks of State Street. Over the course of the summer, we bring people down here to enjoy everything that's happening, events that are currently being planned. The public can check out flocktostate.com to see all of the events, and they're changing in real time from July all the way through October.
And that is Good News, Madison, brought to you by Don's Home Furniture.
It's Empire Today's half price sale. Get half price on select styles of fully installed carpet or flooring, plus pay no interest for 12 months. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today, Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us. Now to some more local news. Right now, crews are responding to a residential fire in Oregon. There's little information available at this moment, but Dane County Dispatch says it is happening on Thompson Lane. The call came in right before 1 this afternoon. This is a developing story, and we will bring you the latest information on this fire on air and on our website at channel3000.com. The man who died after being shot by Fitchburg police earlier this month has been identified. The Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the man as 28-year-old Kevin Price of Madison. It happened on August 12th at the Whispering Pines condominiums located on the 800 block of Whispering Pines Way. Officers say allegedly a couple was fighting. Police say the man was armed with a knife and charged at officers, at which point one officer shot Price. Price's death remains under investigation. Tonight, Madison City Council is holding a special meeting to decide if a referendum will be on the November ballot to fix Madison's structural deficit. If the Common Council approves, voters will decide if they will see an increase in property taxes next year. Mayor Sacha Rhodes Conway has proposed a $22 million referendum. Just yesterday, Alder Marsha Rummel proposed a $27 million increase.
In an effort to lower taxes, which is a little confusing because it's lowering taxes, it's raising taxes to lower taxes. Really, I wish it would have been introduced a couple of weeks ago so people could have a chance to weigh in.
I think you can make an argument that that's a more progressive way to raise revenue. It could benefit particularly households whose properties are below the median value of houses in Madison. So I think it's a very interesting idea. And I'm sure the council will want to talk about it a lot.
Common Council will vote tonight at 6:30. If the vote isn't approved by the Common Council or voters, the city could see a range of cuts. Another pretty nice day in southern Wisconsin. Let's get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Jacob.
Thanks, Jalen. And the nice weather is going to continue for the rest of the work week, where temperatures are going to be a little bit below average, may creep back up close to average by Thursday or Friday, but 80s are expected by the time we get to the weekend and for the first half of next week. But we still are expecting dry conditions. So if you watched yesterday, not much has changed in the forecast. So looking at the forecast for tonight, we are going to see another chilly night with lows dropping to around 50. Could see a few locations dropping into the upper 40s, but we'll see partly cloudy skies, very minimal wind. And tomorrow will be kind of a rinse and repeat of today, maybe a few degrees warmer with a little more sunshine, but still going to see highs in the middle to lower 70s with pretty much no chance of rainfall. But as we get into Thursday, that's when conditions will start to warm up a bit. Still expected to be comfortable for Thursday and Friday, but notice the humidity values once we get to the weekend. We're going to be seeing very humid conditions for Sunday. We could see dew points up near 75, which will likely create heat index values into the 90s. Now, we're not expected to see anything close to 100 in terms of the heat index values, but we're still going to see some very uncomfortable conditions, especially during the afternoon with the sun shining. Now, I talk about the sun shining because we're going to continue to see plenty of sunshine when the temperatures warm up. Here's a look at the rainfall forecast for Wednesday. As I mentioned, mostly sunny skies. That's going to be the case for Thursday as well. A little bit more cloud cover for Friday. We do have a very small chance of an isolated shower, but if it does rain, it will be very brief. Much of our area won't see any rain at all. Best chance of rain will be during the overnight hours, but again, it's going to be very brief if it does fall. During the day on Saturday, we're expecting dry conditions with warmer temperatures by Saturday. And again, overnight, we could see some consistent rainfall, but it's not expected to amount to much. And as we get into Sunday afternoon, we're going to be dry during the afternoon hours again. So looking specifically at the rain chances, we have almost a 0% chance of rain until Friday during the day, where we do have a small chance of rainfall. And that will continue into Friday night as well as Saturday and Saturday night and during the day on Sunday. But in most situations, we're still not expecting much. Looking at the rainfall the next 7 days, it's possible that much of our area we don't see any rain at all. So again, not much has changed in the forecast. If you were watching yesterday, 70s for the rest of the week, 80s over the weekend and into the early portion of next week. Here's the good news though. After Monday, we're going to slowly decrease in temperatures. And if this continues, we could be talking about a very nice Labor Day weekend. Still too early to say for sure, but we are talking about 70s returning by Thursday and Friday of next week. But we still are expecting mostly dry conditions, just very small chances of rainfall. I mean, a little bit more clouds on Friday, but that is about it. Each and every day, we're just going to see a few clouds here and there with overall dry conditions, maybe an isolated shower, but still not expecting much. And again, like I mentioned yesterday, we could afford this break from the rainfall. Maybe not too long, but again, for the next 10 days, we still can afford a little bit of a break considering how much rain we've seen this summer.
All right, well, sounds good, Jacob. Thank you. Coming up next on Live at 4, we head back to Chicago for day 2 of the Democratic National Convention. The latest on the energy and analysis on day 1 of the DNC and what Democrats are looking forward for the rest of the week. Next at 4.
Join Dane County Humane Society for the epic rivalry, cat versus dog.
It's the best tailgate in town. Bark and Wine, September 21st. Reserve your place today.
My day is packed. Client meetings.
Patient rounds. Getting kids out the door.
But Eric Hovde thinks all women care about is Hollywood.
It's just deplorable. Sadly, with, females, they spend too much time focused on what's going on in Hollywood.
Well, guess what, Eric Hovde?
We know you supported overturning Roe versus Wade.
And we know you'd vote for a national abortion ban, too.
Eric Hovde must think he knows better than us.
What is wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Mark, a little help here?
Oh, keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Whoa. Hey, I'm not a beekeeper, but I can replace these windows fast.
Let Feldco be the experts in your home renewal. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest until 2026. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Right now, pet dander, skin cells, mold spores, pollen, and dirt are being sucked into your air ducts. Get cleaner air and system efficiency now with Stanley Steamer. For over 75 years, we've continually engineered our equipment and processes to deep clean your entire home. Your air ducts aren't clean until they're Stanley Steamer clean.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
This is you. And you are why we do what we do. Each and every one of you are wonderful, amazing people. So we'll treat you that way on your journey of trusted care. Because the way you feel matters. Unity Point Health Meritor, a partner of UW Health, know how much you matter to this world.
She grew up in a middle-class home. She was the daughter of a working mom, and she worked at McDonald's while she got her degree. Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable. Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class, just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for, and she's fighting for people like you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Join Dane County Humane Society for the epic rivalry, cat versus dog.
It's the best tailgate in town. Bark and Wine, September 21st. Reserve your place today.
Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Welcome back to Live at 4, everyone. So day 2 of the DNC perhaps marks the beginning of a new era for Democrats trying to keep the White House. Now, last night, President Biden gave his speech essentially looking back on his term in office and looking ahead as the Harris-Walz ticket takes over now.
We talked with John Nichols, a progressive columnist, and you may have read his work in the Capital Times. He gave us his perspective on the first night of the DNC and where the Harris campaign goes from here.
It was a very good speech. The president was on. He was hitting his mark very, very well. And then you had that close with Kamala Harris coming on stage and those very poetic images of the two of them together, holding hands. I thought it's kind of all that you would want for such a moment. It is the goodbye.
And so generating that excitement for this convention moving forward as we move into the later days, what does that look like as we're coming up to tonight?
Well, it's a challenging thing because you want to have an arc, right? You want each night to be better so that people who, maybe tuned in Monday night and thought, okay, a little bit of interest, and then I'm going to come back, and you get more, right? It keeps getting better. So tonight they're going to give you Barack Obama.
How do they take the energy here and appeal to the voters, the undecideds, the independents in the nation?
That is a really great question. I think the heart of it was actually witnessed Monday night. It wasn't the biggest part of the night, but you had leaders of many of the largest unions in the United States come out one after another saying, we're on board. And then Sean Fain from the UAW delivered a very electric speech. That's a big deal because those are folks who go back to their union locals across the country and say, we were just at this convention, it was great, let's take it forward. The other big part of it too is if you go down to the Wisconsin delegation, and I know you have, that's a statewide delegation. There's a lot of people from Milwaukee and Madison. There's also people from small towns. I know somebody who's from Burlington who's in that delegation. They are going to go back with a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and so you kind of mentioned this star power, and is that something, we're kind of seeing more in recent years? What kind of implications can that have as we move into deeper in the election season?
Sure, star power is a real part of politics, and I think, in honesty, it's the Clintons that brought it in. They back in the 90s, started to do this quite a bit, and you've just seen it kind of go from strength to strength, even bringing big stars to Madison, people like Bruce Springsteen, who came for both John Kerry and for Barack Obama. I've interviewed the vice president a number of times, and I will tell you this, she's a huge fan of music. She didn't talk about it as much as you might hope, but she knows hip-hop really well. She knows jazz really well. My sense is that as she gets out on that trail, there's going to be some very prominent folks who come not just to a convention, but show up at rallies. And I will tell you that historically, one of the maybe 10 big rallies of the fall campaign is usually the one in Madison. So you may well be covering something big.
How does she, use her personality, use the things that make her her to appeal to the voters? Because prior to this, I think President Biden's strategy was to say, I'm not Donald Trump.
Right.
Because people were fatigued with that race. So how does this change having her?
Yeah, I think the key for it is to show herself. She's not super young, but she projects young. And I think, to present herself as a young, vibrant, experienced person, that's, I think, what America's kind of looking for. It's really a test, I think, of her aides and her advisors. Do they let her be herself? If they do, she's a pretty fun person.
And we also spoke with Nichols at the RNC as well, and there he discussed Democratic reaction to former President Trump's speech. Well, coming up on Live at 4, day 2 of the DNC as well. Take a look, it's well underway.
What we can expect from tonight's speakers, that's on next at Live at 4.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed murder. And Kamala even protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I need help for my mom. She has dementia. I want a Grace so Mom can get care at home. You know what people say about them? I can't imagine better support through such a painful time. A Grace. Authentic care and connection. Visit agrace.org to learn more.
Champion's Big Window Sale is back.
Do you have ugly, hard-to-open, drafty windows? Now is the best time to buy new Champion windows. Because when you buy 2, you get 2 free. Buy 2 Champion windows, get 2 free? I guess that means if you buy 4, you get 4 free. Buy 6, get 6 free. Buy 10, get 10 free.
Hurry, Champion's Buy 2, Get 2 free sale is for a limited time.
Great job, everybody. Thanks.
Call 888-4CHAMPION or schedule your free in-home estimate online today.
Discover more ways to save on appliances at our Brothers Main Bargain Rooms. Get discounts on top brand closeouts, returns, and scratch and dents. Minor dings, major savings. Plus, you can take your purchase home today. Feel like family. Brothers Main.
Certain this is gonna work?
Nothing to it.
For Imprint certain?
Certainty matters. 4imprint is your home for promo gear to wow clients and inspire your team. Check out 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Hanson's windows, roofing, siding, gutters, bathtubs, and showers are guaranteed. Get 50% off installation or enjoy no interest and no payments for 1 year.
Call 1-800-Hansons. Get it done.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. The alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
That is called Bidenomics.
Gas prices rose again today, reaching a new all-time high.
We're still dealing with inflation, and we've got super high interest rates at the same time.
Bidenomics is working.
2/3 of Americans are just struggling to make ends meet.
And this comes after Friday's jobs report showing a spike in unemployment.
And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Welcome back to Chicago for the second day of the Democratic National Convention. If you missed it earlier, Susan Simon is off tending to a family matter. Elio Liberté is with me here today. So how are things going for you? What have you noticed so far?
You know, it's a little bit slower of a morning, but once you kind of hit this time, it starts to pick up. Yeah. Delegates kind of flood in, and people that I've spoke to today are really excited to be here.
Yeah, this is the time where we start to see big names within the party come in behind us and more security, so you know people are coming in.
No, exactly. Yeah. And we have crews from all over Chicago and in Wisconsin covering some of the major events today. We had a one-on-one with J.D. Vance in Kenosha. We also have reporters in Milwaukee as Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are set to speak at Pfizer Forum.
But first, let's head down to the DNC floor.
That's where we're going to find our Meryl Hubbard, who has more on what to expect from speakers taking the stage tonight at the United Center. Hi, Meryl.
Yeah, Ellie and Brady, I really feel like a VIP down here as we're just steps away from the main stage. I'm actually right in between the California and Illinois delegation, and we're going to see about 4,000 delegates here tonight. You can really feel the energy ramping up as they're getting excited for big names to take the stage. Now, we're going to see Michelle and Barack Obama should be speaking tonight, along with Kamala's husband, Doug Emhoff, and Bernie Sanders. And after holding a virtual vote later this evening, we'll see a ceremonial announcement where Democrats will nominate Harris as their presidential pick. And coming up tonight, we're going to hear more from Wisconsin leaders on the atmosphere of the DNC. Reporting live on the ground floor here, back to you guys. Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Meryl. And I believe now we're going to check in with Braden Ross, who is at the Pfizer Forum. So, Braden, how are things looking over there?
Hi, guys. Well, welcome back to the Pfizer Forum. It feels like we were just here not that long ago covering the RNC. That was only about a month ago, and now we're here. The other party is taking over the home of the Bucks. And speaking of the Bucks, the forward Chris Middleton and Bucks president Peter Feigin are also expected to speak here tonight, along with the mayor of Milwaukee, Cavalier Johnson, and Representative Gwen Moore will also be here. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see we're starting to fill in a little bit here. People filling in all the way even up in the nosebleeds over there. So we'll see how this fills up. And, of course, the question will be if they can fill both this arena and the United Center tonight. Of course, the main event here is Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz. They made the trek up here to battleground Wisconsin, of course, while the rest of their party gathers in Chicago, and they're not the only ones who made the trek up here. I spoke to a voter who came all the way from the home of Lincoln in Springfield, Illinois, to be here today. Here's why he says he wanted to come.
I just love her. After 2 seconds, she feels that she's your Yiddish mother. I mean, she's so warm, open-hearted, nurturing, loving. You just have a feeling that you want to love her.
And again, the question will be, will they be able to fill this arena and the United Center at the same time? That was, of course, what we're speculating. The idea was, aside from coming up to battleground Wisconsin and holding a rally while they're close by. But we'll see if they're able to fill this up at the same time tonight. We are expecting the vice president to come on, I think, around like 8:30, but that keeps getting pushed around and changed. We're not sure. We're expecting President Obama to speak at 9:30, and I believe there will be a watch party here for all the people here inside the Pfizer Forum to watch that speech as well. So we will keep you updated as this night unfolds. And as we saw last night, we don't know what time that might be. So we will see. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Braden. Well, while Vice President Kamala Harris is in Milwaukee, Republican nominee for Vice President Senator J.D. Vance is campaigning nearby.
Yeah, how about that? News 3 Now, we're in Chicago, we're in Milwaukee, we're in Kenosha, and we got an exclusive one-on-one interview with Vance. Political reporter Will Keneally joins us from Kenosha with that story. Will?
Vance's stop here to Kenosha is his second trip to Wisconsin in a matter of days. Both trips focused on law and order. Now, during our one-on-one exclusive sit-down with him, we asked him how he plans to make that pitch to voters. So we've seen perhaps a little bit of a critique, kind of that yard sign politics. You have the I back the blue and then the I'm voting with the felon. Of course. For voters still trying to make up their minds, how would you persuade them that you are the right law and order ticket?
Well, I think just go back. I mean, we're sitting here in Kenosha, right? And if you remember the riots of Kenosha in 2020, Donald Trump affirmatively reached out and offered federal assistance. And of course, it took a couple of days, but eventually the governor accepted that federal assistance, and it made Kenosha safer. If you talk to law enforcement officials, you talk to police officers, whether the rank and file or the leadership, they'll tell you that America just had a much more pro-police set of policies when Donald Trump was president.
Now, Vance also talked about how he plans to draw a distinction between the Harris-Walz ticket and the Trump-Vance ticket as Democrats hold their national convention in Chicago. Now, we'll continue to provide live on-the-ground coverage of the DNC throughout the week. Reporting from Kenosha, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Will. Well, back here in Chicago, police have arrested 10 protesters here after some of them breached part of a fence on the outer perimeter of the venue of the DNC.
Yeah, thousands of mostly peaceful pro-Palestinian protesters had marched in Chicago on day one of the convention in a show of anger against the Biden administration's support for the Israel war in Gaza. After hours of peaceful demonstrations, dozens of protesters broke through part of the perimeter security fence, drawing riot police to the site. Law enforcement personnel acted quickly, and there was no threat to attendees. And our crews are working tirelessly to bring you the latest from the Democratic National Convention, as well as an exclusive interview from J.D. Vance and full coverage of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz rally in Milwaukee. You won't want to miss our coverage, and if you have, don't worry, we are airing a special show filling you in on everything today at 7:30, only on channel3000.com.
We are busy. Well, now let's head back to Madison. Sunny and cooler day across the area. Meteorologist Jacob Mondesano is there with our first warn forecast. Jacob, did I do it okay this time?
Yes, that is my name indeed. And it is very nice here in Madison. We are seeing temperatures right around 70 degrees, partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies, humidity pretty low at around 51%. And looking across Dane County, a lot of the county right near 70 degrees. But there are a few areas, especially east of Dane County, actually in the 60s at this hour. That includes most areas along Lake Michigan, a little bit warmer further west, but still a lot of the area very comfortable at this hour. And looking at the temperature change change from yesterday. You know, yesterday was comfortable as well, but a lot of the area around 5 to 10 degrees colder than this time yesterday. So temperatures have continued to fall a little bit. Now, today will likely be the coolest day of the week, but they're still going to be comfortable for the next few days. Also, current radar is completely dry at this hour, and it's going to remain dry throughout the evening and overnight. We are going to see a little bit of cloud cover around sunset, but still going to see temperatures pretty nicely in the 60s. By tomorrow, we are going to see a very similar forecast to today, although we will see a little bit more sunshine, which may create temperatures a few degrees warmer, but for the most part, it's going to be very similar. Another very nice day, but we are going to see warmer temperatures return by the weekend. I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a little bit later.
All right, thank you, Jacob. And next at 4, Eric and Charlotte continue our coverage from the Lincoln Park Zoo.
And with the DNZ in full swing, we're looking at some presidential movies as Will Loper shows us some of the best. Next on Live at 4.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year. So visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
I'm Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council. America needs a commander-in-chief who's tough on illegal immigration. Kamala Harris fails that test.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
Kamala was Biden's border czar. She supported sanctuary cities and taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. And she created the worst border crisis in American history. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This right here is confidence in a bottle.
It makes me feel so much more confident than I've ever felt.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount on a clean, dry face. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes. And I did this to my father. We were at home, so we applied it to his under eye bags, and let me tell you, we were so excited. In under 10 minutes, they visibly disappeared from view, and now it is literally part of both of our daily routines. And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Before officially attending the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago, Vice President Kamala Harris made a special stop in Milwaukee, and News 3 Now's team was on the ground to capture that moment.
We're going to continue to see nice temperatures during the work week, but a warm-up is expected as we head towards the weekend. More details at 5.
Also ahead at 6, Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance in Wisconsin today. We're inside the motorcade, providing insight on his special visit to the state, only on News 3 Now tonight at 6.
Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
And welcome back. Another beautiful day at the Lincoln Park Zoo. I'm Eric Franke alongside Charlotte DeLeste. It is day 2 coverage of the Democratic National Convention. You got a favorite presidential movie?
Dave, hands down.
Kevin Kline, Indiana University alum. I'll go with, of course, the classic All the President's Men, or The American President, former Wisconsin Governor Andrew Shepard, played by Michael Douglas. Another good
that's
one.
right.
And
That's
you know,
a good one.
and the drama of the twists and turns of the presidential race this summer, it really almost seems like a movie script, right?
I know, get writing. But as Will Loper points out, past presidential races have already been featured in movie documentaries.
We're doing something very controversial. People say, how dare you mount a challenge to someone who's so established?
Crowley hasn't had a primary challenger in 14 years.
He's taken $3 million per cycle. He's going to tell me I'm small, that I'm young, that I'm inexperienced.
Go back to 2018 when 4 female Democrats ran for Congress, including Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, with Knock Down the House streaming on Netflix.
I come from a long line of coal miners. We've been collateral damage. They underestimate us.
The film focuses on each of the women's personal journeys and features stories of grassroots activism going up against more established career politicians.
I'm running because everyday Americans deserve to be represented by everyday Americans.
My first memory of Barack Obama, we talked about how there were only 4 black students in the school.
I was struggling with racial identity. The solution for me was to throw myself into the community.
Watch the life and career of President Barack Obama in the 3-part documentary, Obama in Pursuit of a More Perfect Union, streaming on Max.
We may have different stories, but we hold common hopes. We may not look the same, but we all want to move towards a better future. We have no choice if we are to continue on the path of a more perfect union.
Something in the air, and it's politics.
And watch a government get built from the ground up with Girls State, streaming on Apple TV+.
Girls State is like high school teenage girls who care about government.
A large group of teenage girls in Missouri spend a week filling every role in a government, from attorney general to Supreme Court justice.
We all have, in our own different ways, grown up in a world where we've never seen a female president. But how do we change that? We step up.
This is where it all begins.
Live at 4, I'm Will Loeb.
Good luck. I'll talk to you soon.
And ahead on Live at 4, the director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, joins us once again.
We will talk about President Joe Biden's speech from last night, and he'll have more on what to expect tonight. That's next on Live at 4. Welcome back to Portage Furniture Store, your forever furniture store. Mr. Aaron Ayers, what does that mean?
Welcome back, Emmy. Yes, when we talk about forever furniture, we talk about generation-lasting, heirloom-quality custom furniture. Case in point, we live it every day. My wife and I, we have a chair in our home that my grandfather sold to my wife's grandparents. Generation-lasting, third-generation-lasting furniture.
Long, long before you and Jen had met. That's an incredible story.
We find love at Portage Furniture.
He can promise that right there. And still free delivery, amazing service from your crew.
We talk about it all the time, the best in the business. Bring it in, set it up for you, move it left, move it right. They are the best.
They're going to take care of you. And it looks like the 4th generation, they're just swooping right in. They're making some decisions here, Aaron.
They're trying to kick us out the door as quick as they can. They're anxious and they're ready to go.
Kenley, are you ready to work in the store someday?
Yeah, I was born ready.
That a girl. High five. We've all had those moments in businesses where you see the salesperson come at you and you're like, oh man, I haven't even had a second to look. Except that doesn't happen when you come to Portage Furniture.
That's right. Really, it's a pressure-free environment. Really no pressure at all. We like the customers to be able to get a chance to look around, to really sit down on the furniture, to lay down on the mattresses, to really, again, have the no pressure atmosphere here at the store.
Absolutely. But they also know their stuff. So when you're ready, when you need them, when you have the questions for them, they're going to be here and they're ready to go.
Yeah, that's right. You know, our staff and our salespeople are very well knowledgeable and they know the product and everything too. So any questions, they're here for you.
From the entire Portage Furniture family, I'm Emmy Fink, and you're buzzed into Madison.
Nobody wants to put a new roof over their head. It's too expensive. And if they can extend the life of that roof and get 5 more years or 10 more years, it's a no-brainer.
What RoofMax does is it helps people in that they don't have to spend that $15,000, $20,000 on a new roof. they can spend pennies on the dollar.
The roof match product was a small percentage of cost of replacing a roof.
This is a great financial decision for us as a community.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed murder. And Kamala even protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Live from Chicago, this is News 3 Now's special coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
And welcome back once again to Chicago, live from the Nature Boardwalk here at the beautiful Lincoln Park Zoo.
Another gorgeous day.
Absolutely stunning out here.
Marquette University Law School poll director Charles Franklin, he is back in Madison. Charles, great to have you with us once again.
Good to be here.
I want to start off by asking, what were the big moments that you saw in night one of the convention?
I would say the contrast between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's speech, the new generation, just 34 years old, and Joe Biden's final speech to the convention at the end. I thought those were interesting companion pieces and also a contrast. Ocasio-Cortez was talking about a lot of fairly mainstream Democratic issues, progressive issues to be sure, but not the far left progressivism that I think she talked about 4 years ago at the convention. Joe Biden, on the other hand, was saying farewell and was reviewing a lot of the accomplishments that he has in office and got an extended and very positive ovation for all of that.
Yeah, you know, he had a lot of energy. You know, the age is not, you know, we've talked about it. He had a lot of energy, and it was so late. How big of a factor was the lateness of this? Because a lot of people missed the president's speech, particularly on the East Coast.
There's a long history of Democratic conventions running late and putting their keynote speakers past 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Biden's speech ran past midnight on the East Coast. I think that's an unfortunate matter of programming. But I think you also saw Biden energetic, but running down a lot of the things that he probably would have campaigned on in the fall if he had remained a candidate. Those are accomplishments of his campaign. But I think the forward-looking speech that Ocasio-Cortez gave rallied the troops in the convention hall in a different way, not a fond farewell, but a real look forward. So I thought that contrast was interesting.
Charles, this seems to be a rather unique thing, almost dueling conventions, if you will, tonight, because they're going to be airing Kamala Harris to the crowd here in Chicago from when she's in Milwaukee, and the Obama's addresses here to supporters on video at Pfizer Forum. So it seems like it's all about the show at this point.
It really is a bit of theater, I think. Having Harris at Pfizer Forum, the site of the RNC, by all appearances filling the forum tonight, will be a little bit of a needle in Donald Trump for crowd size and in the same arena. But I think the dual programming, beaming her into Chicago and beaming Obama's speech, or the Obama's speech, both Obamas, into Milwaukee is another little bit of interesting theater, tying the two together. Also doing a little campaigning in Wisconsin, which never hurts.
Right. Charles, last question. On that note, how big Wisconsin is, you've got J.D. Vance in Kenosha today. This really reinforces just how big of a factor the Badger State is in this election, right?
It does, absolutely. Vance has been following Harris and Walz around the country, holding smaller group events, a press conference here or a small meeting with a factory there. But the main point for them is to make sure that Vance is in the news coverage on the same days that the Harris campaign is getting coverage, even if Harris is having much bigger events.
Yeah, it really is something. We'll see. You know, everybody talking, the crowd size has become such an issue with this, especially in social media. It'll be interesting to see if they can pack both of these arenas tonight.
Well, we will find out tonight.
Charles, great to have you. Great to talk to you. Really appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Well, let's head back to Madison once again. Meteorologist Jacob Madisano has more with your first warn forecast. Hey, Jacob.
Hey, Eric, and if you watched yesterday, the forecast is going to be very similar. Not much has changed. We're going to continue to see comfortable temperatures for the work week with warmer temperatures for the weekend. And as far as rainfall goes, we are still expecting mostly dry conditions with just a few isolated showers and storms here and there. So looking at the forecast for tonight, it will be a little bit of a chilly night as lows will drop into the lower 50s, possibly upper 40s for a few locations, partly cloudy skies, and again, cool temperatures. And then for tomorrow afternoon, very similar to today, maybe a few degrees warmer and a little bit more sunshine, but partly sunny to mostly sunny skies and just overall very nice weather. But unfortunately, the nice weather won't last forever. Here's a look at the muggy meter over the next 5 days or so. Remaining comfortable, especially through Thursday. Friday will begin to get a little humid, but Saturday and then especially Sunday is when those humidity values will really start to increase, and we are going to be very humid by the time we get to Sunday afternoon with dew points possibly as high as 75, which could create heat index values getting close to the 90 to 95 degrees. Unlikely we'll get any warmer than that, but actual temperatures will easily hit the 80s. Now, as far as rainfall goes, as I mentioned, we aren't expecting much. We'll see sunshine for Wednesday. We also will see sunshine for Thursday. Friday, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover with a very small chance of an isolated shower or two, but most of our area will be dry, and if it does rain, it will be very brief. Better chance will come overnight Friday into early Saturday, but again, we're only expecting a brief round of rainfall, if that. Saturday afternoon will be dry again. Could see some showers overnight Saturday into Sunday, but by Sunday afternoon, we're going to be dry once again. And overall, the dry weather is expected to continue. And looking specifically at the rain chances, only about a 20% chance of rain, even when we get to Friday into the weekend. So overall, if we do see rain, it's not going to be much. Now, as we look at next week's forecast, we are going to remain dry through next week as well. At least that's what it looks like for now. But notice the temperatures. It looks like after Monday, they are going to slowly cool back down to the 70s, possibly as early as Thursday. And if this continues, we could be talking about a very nice Labor Day weekend. Obviously too early to say for sure, but it does look like we are going to see 70s return by the end of the 10-day forecast. We'll be right back.
Keeping tabs on our kids' screen time can be tough.
So SSM Health and News 3 Now created the Time for Kids digital playbook.
Join us for tips to help your family set rules and stay safe in the digital world by taking Time for Kids.
Are your home's tired, leaky gutters saying, rain, rain, go away? Is your basement at risk of flooding? To the rescue, Fry Construction and our absolute gutters. Our gutters are custom fabricated on-site for a perfect, seamless fit that's engineered to excel. Wishing for a break in the clouds? How about a sunny 29% discount on our absolute gutter system? To get this great deal, visit fryconstruction.com today to schedule your roof or siding replacement.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
I became a nurse to make lives better. Today, that's hard to do because of the open border. I've seen firsthand the damage that Kamala Harris caused as our country's borders are. Hospitals everywhere are overwhelmed, and American patients are paying the price. My patients are covering the healthcare costs for people here illegally while their own care is jeopardized. Kamala Harris is weak and dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Keeping tabs on our kids' screen time can be tough.
So SSM Health and News 3 Now created the Time for Kids digital playbook.
Join us for tips to help your family set rules and stay safe in the digital world by taking Time for Kids.
Before officially attending the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago, Vice President Kamala Harris made a special stop in Milwaukee. News 3 Now's team was on the ground to capture the moment. That's coming up next. News 3 Now is focusing on the issues and the races that matter where you live, with 3 for the people.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues, and fact-checking it all, so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now.
Look at this. We have been live, of course, from the Lincoln Park Zoo all week. And, of course, we haven't been the only ones here.
Here is a look at the kangaroo exhibit at the zoo. Some other animals that call this place home are aardvarks, lions, monkeys, and bears. The 35-acre zoo was founded in 1868 and is the 4th oldest zoo in North America. And just like the Henry Vilas Zoo in Madison, this zoo is also free.
Wow, what a value. And the zebras are just a few feet away. Cheeseheads are all over the place, of course, in the Badger State.
And you best believe they are making an appearance here at the DNC in Chicago.
How many people have a cheese head? Wave your cheese head if you've got one. Wave it if you've got them. Look at those beautiful, the seas of cheese. This makes a Wisconsinite's heart sing. Folks, yesterday...
That was this morning at the Wisconsin delegation breakfast, where many speakers, including Arizona Senator Mark Kelly and Wisconsin Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, spoke to Wisconsin Democrats. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Oakmont Senior Community in Verona. Active seniors 55 plus will enjoy our new luxury apartments, professionally managed by award-winning Attic Angel Community. Call Demery today for a tour and reserve your place at Oakmont.
Get an 11% rebate on your painting project at Menards. Dutch Boy DuraClean is an interior paint and primer in one with Stay Clean technology, so your home stays beautiful longer. A gallon starts at $19.48 after rebate. Give your space the Platinum treatment with Platinum Plus interior paint. Its stain shield technology protects your spaces with a performance you'd expect from a luxury paint at a price you wouldn't. Get a gallon starting at $36.48 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
TDS Fiber Internet makes our home smarter. Working, playing, living, learning. It's all better with TDS Fiber Internet because it's faster, more reliable. It's award-winning internet served up by friendly local folks. It's what keeps us connected. And isn't that what it's all about? Say hello to internet that hits different. Say hello to TDS.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
That is called Bidenomics.
Gas prices rose again today, reaching a new all-time high.
We're still dealing with inflation, and we've got super high interest rates at the same time.
Bidenomics is working.
2/3 of Americans are just struggling to make ends meet.
And this comes after Friday's jobs report showing a spike in unemployment.
And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
Some lucky fan will win 4 Packers season tickets for 1 year, all because of Packers scratch games from the Wisconsin Lottery.
But who will it be?
This could be Debbie's year.
That looks like someone who could win up to $50,000 in instant cash prizes.
But don't count out Tim.
Maybe he'll win one of the MVP tailgate experiences.
Then there's Raymond.
Legend.
4 Packers season tickets for 1 year could be his.
Or yours.
Ticket prices range from $1 to $10, available at Wisconsin Lottery retailers.
Welcome to Oakmont Senior Community in Verona. Active seniors 55 plus will enjoy our new luxury apartments, professionally managed by award-winning Attic Angel Community. Call Demery today for a tour and reserve your place at Oakmont.
This has been an amazing location to go live from, right? Look at that view of the city.
I know, and we've had really beautiful weather and lots of great people and dog watching.
Yeah, there are so many dogs. We're at a zoo. We've seen zebras.